thewellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives. This is Up for a Chat with Cyndi O'Meara, Carren Smith, and Kim Morrison.
Here we are, up for a chat about the hottest topics that are important to you, inspiring you to awaken the change within. I'm Carren Smith.
I'm Kim Morrison.
And I'm Cyndi O'Meara.
And welcome. And we are so excited. Look at us, a couple of kids in a candy store. Okay, so here's the deal. We've all been away overseas, travelling the globe. It's so fabulous. I've gone from 0 to hero throughout Europe. Cindy's been all throughout Europe and Spain and Greece and, oh my goodness, stop it. And Kim's been all throughout the US and it's just...
Houston.
We've got a problem.
I have to tell you this because it was so funny. So I sent a photo to Kim of my view, and I'm on the Mediterranean, I'm high on a hill, and I'm overlooking up towards Athens, and it's absolutely stunning, blue seas, everything like that.
Wasn't the water?
Oh, the water is unbelievable in the Mediterranean.
And the white buildings and the blue sky.
The whole bit. So I've got this beautiful photo that I send her, and she sends me back her view.
Oh, no.
A car park at the hotel and a highway.
You're such a
Nice.
Sorry.
I just need to add in for our listeners, these two were actually holidaying and flirting about the place. I actually worked the whole time I was
I don't
just
believe
saying.
it.
No,
I don't believe it.
I work too.
I answered emails.
I went to a conference.
Did you do assignments, presentations?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Oh, look at them.
I saw your presentation on Facebook. It was very good, Carren.
I will have you know. I did do a major presentation, actually, and I got a massive contract.
There you go. There you go.
I haven't told you about that one yet. That's in the next conversation. Yeah?
All right, so I just thought I'd put that in there. So, but you continue. Go
Glad
on.
that you did, because I think it's hilarious.
You're both tarts and move on.
Where were we? Greece and Spain.
Greece, Spain,
France,
Dubrovnik,
Italy.
France. Oh, my goodness. Paris.
I went to NASA.
Barcelona.
Failure is not an option.
Yes, we did get...
We did get pencils from Houston from Kim.
We did. So today's actually, it's our first podcast back from being away from each other for so long. So the first hour was just exchanging gifts. And Kim got us pencils that said failure is not an option from NASA. And I really get that. You can imagine that would be their mantra for their culture.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Failure is not an option.
Absolutely. And even sitting in the room where, where they land on the moon and it's got that Houston, we've got a problem. Like, we went into, look, that was the only outing I got, was to go to NASA. But it felt really surreal, because I've also been of that thought that was the whole thing a conspiracy. In which case... was this all like, there was a lot of effort they went to if it was fabricated and it was a conspiracy. But we also stood right next to the big shuttle. Like, it's massive. And
So the one that landed on the moon?
I don't know if it was the one. I didn't pay that much attention. I took a photo with Neil Armstrong.
Would that not be the only question you'd want to know?
That's what I would want to know.
Wouldn't that be the one thing?
I don't know.
I love it. Right.
She's snorting.
Why would I care? It was massive. It was a big ship.
That's what NASA is all about.
Well, then it probably was the ship. Seriously. Come on. Anyway.
Pull it together, Carren. Come on, pull it together. She's lost it completely.
It was a very big thing. Anyway. And I had a photo with Neil Armstrong. Well, a picture.
So
Carry on, please.
Oh, you're just too funny. Who does that? Who goes to NASA? She goes to NASA and she does. Oh, no. I can't even get my words out. She goes to NASA and she doesn't even find out if the rocket she's looking at is the one that goes to the moon.
I would want to know, because do you know what? I would want to touch it.
I did touch it. So if it was, I did. really cool anyway.
Oh, you are such a dag. Oh, goodness gracious. So collect oneself. Oh, breathing in through the nose. Oh,
And out through the mouth.
there we go. Oh, for goodness sake, Kim, you're just hilarious. So this morning was just this outrageous catch-up and exchange of presents and obviously discovering Kim's journey.
So the pencil was probably the best gift that we got, wouldn't you think?
She's just
Apart
showing-
from the leather bag and the beautiful Spanish jewellery,
Yes.
I would say the pencil was probably the best gift we got.
She's just held up a big sign, listeners. She's just held up a big sign, flashed it in front of my face, calling me a tart. That's what. Oh,
All right, we those pencils.
funny. They are cute. They're gorgeous.
Where did I put
So
mine?
we thought what we'd do with you guys this morning, instead of us sitting there catching up with each other and not include you in on it, we thought that we'd just have our podcast be our catch up. So that you guys could hear about everything that we've been doing over the last couple of weeks. And because the other really awesome side to what we've been doing in our travelling is learning stacks, not only just about ourselves, but learning stacks about what happens outside of the island of Australia. And I don't know about you girls, but it's like, I've always known that there's a whole big world out there, but when you go out there, I was out there for a holiday, yes I was, true, admit it. I went for a holiday for the first 4 weeks, but then the last 2 weeks I was in San Francisco working. And it's really opened my eyes in terms of, the internet has really opened up a global opportunity for businesses. And I've known that intellectually, but I didn't realise what they could possibly mean when it comes to taking your message out to the world. I have no idea what that could possibly mean. So travelling internationally it's opened my eyes to the reality that in Australia we have some amazing talent. And because we've also got the ability and space for freedom of thought. And I think that that's something that I think looking in some other places is a real opportunity for us to be able to share into those other places to encourage more freedom of thought. Because I think that there are lots of places where freedom of thought hasn't been experienced to the extent that we experience it in Australia. And I think we just take it for granted because it's just the way we live. Did you guys feel the same way?
And the other thing that I discovered while I was away is that, different cultures offer different thoughts and different ways of thinking. So one of the things I discovered in Spain was, I went hiking, and as I was hiking, there were trees of food everywhere.
And you took your dad on this one with you,
Yeah, I was with my dad and my daughter.
how
It was
beautiful.
gorgeous. So we're hiking for hours. But you don't need to take food and you don't need to take water.
Really?
No, because there's fig trees. I was eating figs. Oh my gosh, the figs. There was almond trees. There was chestnut trees. There was grapes. There was kiwi fruit.
Hello.
It was everywhere. There was wild cherries. So I just kept eating off the...
Too bad if any of them were poisonous.
Oh, and mulberries.
Was that the photo that I saw
Of my
on
dad.
Facebook of your dad?
My
Because It
dad.
was like he just being bled to death.
Yeah. He was just... Because I had figured out if you stand under the mulberry tree and pick the mulberry, then it's just going to bleed down your hand. So I would get on top of the mulberry tree almost and eat from the top, basically. But not Dad. No, Dad would just sit there and he had red everywhere. All his clothes were stained, his face was stained.
Oh, that's
but
so
I ate
funny.
mulberries and figs. You don't need shops over there. And what I got told...
Whereabouts in Spain was this?
This was in the mountains. So I was in the hills of Spain, just south of Granada. So Granada is Barcelona, Madrid, Granada, and then Malaga. Malaga is it or Malaga? I don't know how they say it. So I was between Granada and Malaga in the hills. So there was snow. There was still snow, and it was 33 degrees.
Well,
And
I
there
was in
still
Barcelona and it was boiling hot. But if I'd known that was there, we would have
just stunning. Absolutely stunning.
You would have added more to your rather full cruise trip holiday thing, would you, love?
Yes. yes. I would have been quite a brat. I would have gone.
But what was amazing is that I went for my first walk. So I got up really early in the morning and just went for my walk myself and found the mulberry tree. And at first I'm going, oh, is it poisonous? Or is it not? So I was a bit worried. So I just took one and ate it and went, that is the sweetest thing. That can't be poisonous.
Sweet poison.
So I had like a punnet. I just kept picking them. And then when we went for this long 4-hour walk, it was like figs and like nuts. There were nuts everywhere. That's what blew me away. But what I was told by the locals was that if you give them a tree that produces a food that they can consume, they treasure it. Absolutely treasure it. If you give them a tree that has no way, it's only beauty, it has nothing that you can eat off it, they actually don't treat it as well. So what they want is that they want edible gardens all the time. And they want, like I would be walking in the middle of nowhere and there'd be mint. Stunning mint growing, and I would pick the mint. There was fennel everywhere. There was
cats wee on that.
Fennel,
but there weren't enough cats out there for them to wee on every fennel.
How does fennel grow? How does it grow? Does it grow out of the ground?
Well, it was this big bush, but I couldn't find the bulb. So this wasn't the bulb, but the seeds. So you get the seeds off it. And one of the things I love is I love fennel in my teas. So to me, it was
fennel, from an essential oil point of view, is used for digestive function and cleansing and detoxing, and it's a wonderful. It's like peppermint is. It's like a digestive aid.
So if I put peppermint and fennel together, and
ginger,
which was
and
there,
then add ginger, you've got the ultimate stomach remedy. It's amazing.
And and I saw garlic. I saw garlic growing. It was just amazing what was there. So for me, that was the Spanish culture of everything edible. Oh, and the other thing is springs. There were springs everywhere. You never needed to take your water. I remember coming across this spring and tasting the water, and it tasted like mineral water. It tasted like it had been carbonated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and apparently it's called the Spring of Health. And people come there to get their health back. And they say you must drink from the spring. You can't take it away. You must drink from the spring. And there's apparently a lot of iron within this spring. And this is the one spring that if you get the water and you do put it into a jar, the iron will not drop out of it. It actually stays within the water. So, yeah, they call it the Spring of Health, and it's in a town in the mountains of Granada, and we went there, and so everywhere I went there was a spring. Like I said, you never needed to buy water, and the townspeople don't use the municipality water. They actually use the spring water to drink from.
Why would you not?
Well, why would you, and this water, I wish I had a spring sitting right beside me, at home, because you would keep drinking water. You know how water tastes revolting?
Yeah.
But this is one way you would be drinking water. I couldn't get enough of this water. And that mineral water, I had to keep... It was a 2-hour hike from me. And I used to get up early in the morning and hike down there and have my water and eat my way through. I'd come home, I didn't need breakfast, I didn't need anything.
What a treat. That's like
it was.
fairy tale.
Yeah, it was. For me, because I love food, and I went, we've got to start doing this. We've got to start making edible gardens. Like you spend a lot of money on your landscaping.
Do you know
and we should be making it edible. And these guys know how to trim it. And you know what I found out? That mulberries and figs are seen as noxious weeds in Australia.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Mulberries and figs? No way.
They're seen, well, the fig tree, everybody doesn't want it because it just takes over, but all you got to do is keep trimming it down. And the same with the mulberry tree. You got to keep trimming them down, and there's no reason we can't do this. Lemon trees are always a tree that we have in our garden. I just remember everyone has a lemon tree.
Yeah.
But why not have, here in Queensland especially, we can have mulberry. Oh, mulberry, I tell you, I think I'd spend my life with my mouth open. Under the tree.
I keep thinking of a mulberry pie.
Under the tree.
We had a mulberry tree when we were kids, and we used to climb up the mulberry tree, and it got so big and so fat and heavy that one of the branches actually cracked straight down the middle. But that was perfect because it actually dropped the leaves down so that me, being short, could actually reach the mulberries. So I would have it all over my face. We'd just be purple.
Yeah.
And it was stunning. I tell you, just stunning. Oh, let's do it.
One exciting thing was that when the mulberries do drop, they then dry on the ground. So I didn't just have to eat the fresh ones. I would gather on the ground. And I know people think, Cyndi, germs and things like that. But come on, we've got to have good probiotics. This is the best way to get probiotics.
Right.
They were on the ground.
Is there no bugs or insects or animals that come and half eat them and then poo all over them?
Well, there's so many. That's gets me. So it's like crowded on the ground. And I saw a dried one and I looked at it and I went, I wonder what that tastes like. Picked it up.
Oh, God, she would.
Yes, yes, I would. I'm a bush pig.
Turned out it was a dried bat poo.
And they do look the same. They do.
Well, there were so many of them and it tasted so good. I'm sure it wasn't dried bat poo. But anyway, I picked them all up and took them home to everybody. And I said, guys, you've got to taste this. This is dried red mulberries. And they were just stunning. Just stunning. So I put them in my mueslis. I did pick out all the dirt and, I did clean them. I did. Look at them. Look at me.
So brave.
But anyway, that's the culture. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and the same was Greece.
I thought the other
Greece had fig trees everywhere.
You talked to me about the Mediterranean diet.
Ah, yes.
I thought this was an interesting point that you mentioned. Share that.
Yeah.
Tell.
Well, they all talk about the Mediterranean diet and how it's healthy for you and how things, what they do is good. So, olive oil and they eat a lot of bread. Like every meal there was bread sitting there.
Yeah.
But what I noticed, and I noticed it a lot, that if I did see an older person, they were overweight and they were very crippled. Very crippled. So is the Mediterranean diet as good as what they're saying, with the oil? And the other thing is that they're all talking about, the olive oil is what they eat. But when you have a look at what they really do eat, they actually eat a lot of butter. They actually eat a lot of kid. There was goat and there was,
Baby goat.
Yeah, no, kid, big goat.
A kid is a baby goat.
Oh, well, that's what they called it, was kid. I just assumed it was goat.
Do you like eating
So
lamb?
they do eat a lot of meat and a lot of fish. They do consume a lot of that. But the bread was what got me. There was a bakery. I was in a town that was not a tourist town. And there was this huge bakery there and it was all wheat. And so my thoughts were is that perhaps their diet has started to change. They're not just eating what they used to eat, which was the olives, which was high in fat, and the meat, and their cheeses and their bacon. Oh my gosh, their bacon, jabon, is just something. I thought it was jam, so I didn't buy it. Like what it was scrambled eggs and bacon or scrambled eggs and jam. That's what it said.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
But it was ham. And so Casey, my daughter, she orders the jam, and I ordered the bacon, and then I had breakfast envy, didn't I? Because she's got the best looking ham. You should have seen it. It was amazing. I was in Madrid airport, and I was looking at all the hams, and there was one that's called Blackfoot, and apparently it is the treat in food as far as the things go in Spain. I'm trying to figure out where I was. Greece or Spain? Spain. So I was in Spain.
Look, whatever.
Wherever. Doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Anyway, these pigs are fed acorns. That's all they're fed. And I figured out it was about $350 a kilo for this ham. And I thought, I've got to try it. So 100 grams was €29.
Wow.
100 grams. But I went, well, I don't do anything but spend money on food. I don't buy shoes and bags like somebody else I know.
Point taken.
So I kind of went, €30 on 100 grams of ham just to give it a taste. And all they do is cure it in salt. That's it. Oh, my gosh.
Was it good?
Oh, yeah. Casey kept stealing it from me. I said, pay for your own. No, I shared with my daughter. I did share with my daughter. So for me, the food was, I learnt so much about the food. And, if we can cure a ham, and you don't have to have, $350 a kilo ham, but they were curing ham with salt, without nitrates, without nitrites, without colours, without anything, and it was stunning. So, yeah, for me, the food and the culture, that was what I went for, and I learnt so much.
Yeah, I felt the same way. When we arrived, we flew from Australia into Rome, and I went with Matt. So the first thing we did when we arrived was he needed to have ice cream. So the first thing he wanted was, okay, let's suss out Rome and find our gelato stops. And he also wanted pizza. He just wanted, all he wanted was pizza and gelato. That's all he wanted. And that was pretty much all we had, or all he had, was pizza and gelato the whole time. And it was absolutely fabulous. Where we were staying in Rome was right opposite one of the most popular gelato shops. Oh my goodness, I've got some amazing photos of these beautiful mountains of fluffy gelato just lined up, all the different flavours, spectacular. And then right next door was a pizza place, but there were pizza places on every corner. And the pizza in Europe is so stunning. It's so thin. The crust is so thin. And then it's just really minimal toppings. But what Matt got introduced to was Parma ham or prosciutto.
Oh.
And very similar. Just beautiful. Not that I would have tasted it, I didn't, but he said it was it was just exceptional. Very thinly shaved, and they didn't actually cook it. They put that on after the pizza had been cooked. So then the Parma ham would sit on the top of the pizza, and he just thought that was heaven on a stick. Heaven on a stick.
Gelati and prosciutto.
Oh, yeah.
Pizza.
Yeah, he just thought he was just in absolute heaven.
And you know what? Something about Italian bread is that they still grow einkorn.
Well, I wanted to bring to that point,
good.
Miss Cindy, because obviously I don't eat any wheat or anything like that here in Australia because I'm incredibly sensitive. I'm just one of those very unlucky people. But over in Rome and in Italy, I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to give this a try, and I was very strict with myself. I would have my beautiful fruits in the morning. And then I'd have salad for lunch and a salad for dinner. So my whole regime was big greens, lots of greens, and then whatever else wants to be added in there is great, but it must have lots of greens. And they would always bring this beautiful bowl of bread. Never butter. I did not ever get given European butter. Anywhere, not in Paris, nowhere. Nobody had butter.
Did they bring out oil though?
Yeah, no oil.
No, just the bread by itself.
Just the bread by itself. And then they would bring out the olive oils. Not unless you ordered it. But they would bring out the olive oil as dressing for the salad.
Yeah.
But not the olive oil and balsamic that you would dip the bread into. No, never got that. Not anywhere. Not anywhere.
Could you ask for butter?
Oh, I guess you could. I didn't.
No.
Actually, it was the same in Greece and Spain.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
it was
always
the same-
had oil and vinegar on the table with the salt and pepper.
Yeah.
That was there, but the bread came out without anything.
Well, Mykonos and Santorini was the same.
Yeah.
So is bread
But in
seen
Rome-
as an accompaniment? Is it a...
Yeah. But it was free.
Yeah.
So when they brought the water out and put that on your table, the bread came with it.
Nice.
It was a bit civilised. And I thought, I'm going to give this bread a whirl. And while the flavour wasn't remarkably different to what I was used to, the after effects were. I lost 3.5 kilos travelling through Europe. And normally, if I was to have bread, overnight I'd put on 500 or 600 grams. And every day that I would eat bread, I'd put on 500 or 600 grams in inflammation. So in Europe, I didn't get that at all.
I can see a new diet coming out. The Kazas eat bread in Europe.
I think it's
Diet.
Yeah, why Kazza didn't get fat in France.
The French paradox.
Fabulous.
The Carren French paradox.
And the other,
Despite the fact that she walked every street to buy shoes and handbags.
oh, I did. I think the walking had a lot to do with it.
But that's interesting, and it could be because they're still using the traditional wheat grain, not the new hybridized, chemically hybridized, dwarf style wheat grain. So it's wonderful to hear.
Well, I thought that must have been the reason, because the first day I tried it, I was nervous. Second day, I went, oh, well, I was fine yesterday. I didn't feel the bloating. And then every day that I tried it, I didn't have a lot.
Wow.
But then as the days went on, I went, no, bugger it, I'll have a whole roll. I'm having a salad, bugger it, I'll have a roll with it. And so I did. And then I went, bugger it, I'll have a red wine too.
Such a tart.
And you know what? You look fantastic.
You do. You
And
should see
usually
her stomach.
yes, we're most impressed because normally Kaz, can I say?
Of course you can.
Normally Kaz has a very bloated
I
stomach.
thought you were going to say she's a bush pig or something. I thought you were gonna really
I
go
am
to
the bush
town on her.
pig.
Yeah, nice.
No, she's always got a bit of bloating in her stomach, and it does blow up, and it's as flat as a tack right now.
I know.
So everything appeals
I've
to
touched
you.
it. It's nice. It's nice.
Mind you, though, when I left Europe, because Europe was just, that's a whole other ballgame, but when I went to the United States and I was in San Francisco, there's a whole other ballgame. Nothing is fresh, everything is genetically modified.
Let me tell my story now.
Here we go. Yes, we heard all about this.
Am I finished?
Yeah, no, I'm just.
Oh, are
gonna
you
say
hang on?
something.
You finished?
No, clearly I'm finished.
No, the minute you mentioned the States.
That was the end of it.
Oh my gosh.
Kath, Kim.
Oh my gosh, I've got food envy listening to you two because
Just before you go on to the States,
All right.
just let me say this, and then you can say that.
Well, we could go back to that.
That's an option.
Failure.
Dolmades. fresh.
Oh, Dalmatis, yes.
Fresh.
Are these the vines?
The vines
with
are nice.
Fresh Dalmatis.
Yep, got it.
Fresh Dalmatis. Fresh, fabulous. Stop it. Shut the front door. Tzatziki.
Yeah.
In that amaze balls. Greek yogurt. Oh my goodness. The hummus.
I'm with you. I'm with you, girlfriend.
And then the bocconcini cheese. Well, it's just their mozzarella, but beautiful mozzarella with, oh my goodness, the tomatoes make me want to cry. The tomatoes are just heaven. It's like you've never eaten a tomato.
Look, I agree. Now, I had so many Greek salads. Why can't our tomatoes taste like theirs?
Oh, Cindy, and they have like 9 different varieties of tomatoes at their fruit stores. I've got photos. These lumpy, rigid
Just to
tomatoes.
prove.
Oh, absolutely. I have to.
You had to prove.
I mean, because you wouldn't believe me otherwise. But I'm not kidding you. Oh, stop it. The tomatoes on the bocconcini with the beautiful fresh basil leaf over the top and then a little balsamic reduction. With some very heavy, thick rock salt or sea salt over the top of that. I'm telling you, I mean,
you know what I'm getting from it
and
too?
cheese.
Yeah, the cheeses were magnificent.
And I'm vegan, and I was just eating cheese like a
Does that compute?
like an animal.
Cheese vegan.
A cheese vegan. I'm a cheese vegan.
But you know what's ringing true here? You're talking about one ingredient. You're both talking about a tomato. You're talking about basil as if it's the most exquisite thing out.
It was.
It
was.
know.
I kid you not. It's as if you've never had a tomato before.
I'm with you.
It was a heavenly experience. I can't even begin to put words to what that was like. We went to Matt and I went to this little place called Katakolon, and it's in Greece. We hired a moped.
Can you see the two of them on the moped?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be funny.
And it was stunning because in Katakolon it's just big farms. But it's on the beach, it's on the water, and the water is like blue, like the sky, just baby blue colour. And then all these beautiful farms that grow the tomatoes and they grow the basils and the beautiful lettuces that just go for miles. Oh, it was intoxicating. The smell of fresh tomato is intoxicating when you can smell it growing. I love it.
Do you know it?
Oh, I love it.
You know, that's what I love about especially Greece, because I was in Evia, on the island of Evia, and look at Kim. She got to go to Houston.
We'll get to you.
We'll get to you. Don't you worry. We will get to you. But I was on the island.
Just before you say that, though, just yesterday I redid my veggie garden.
Oh.
And you're talking about that smell of tomatoes. When I was planting my tomato plant, there is a real smell around tomato and the plants of the tomato. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all right. You can say that.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went to this place one evening. Their timing culture is a little bit hard for me because they go out to eat at 10 o'clock at night.
Well, because it doesn't get dark until midnight. We were in Paris on Bastille Day, and they wanted that. Well, they did the fireworks. We start standing on the bridge to watch the fireworks at 6:30. I'm in heels.
Why would you do it in heels?
Because everybody in Paris looks so beautiful. And I was running around in my daggers for the whole time. And Matt kept saying to me, compared to them, hun, you need help. So I thought, okay, on Bastille Day, I'll work it up. I'll put my new jeans on, my fabulous new heels, nice little top, did my hair, makeup, stood there, didn't I? 6.5 hours.
I bet.
Because it doesn't get dark till midnight. And then it was at midnight the damn fireworks go off. 6.5 hours in heels, I'm telling you, people. There is nothing good about that.
No way.
But it's right, they don't. They don't eat till 10.
No, well, we would go out for dinner at 10. I'd be like, going, I'm ready for bed.
Oh,
but this is their summer culture. Apparently it's not their winter culture, but it's their summer culture.
Do they get up later?
Yes, very. Like the conference started at 10 o'clock.
Isn't that cool?
And we'd have 2 hours for lunch. We worked hard, Kim.
Plus a 20-minute kip at about 3.
Yes, exactly. And then we do a meditation in the middle of it.
I just want the listeners to understand how much I worked while I was away. No. These 2 holiday... I have written word tarts written here because I'm just going to introduce you to my experience in America. So I land...
Oh, you're not going to let me finish it?
No, I'm so not doing that.
No, please, let's stay
just
in
one
heaven.
thing. No, I'm just talking about a tomato.
All right.
Just a tomato
Talk about a
story.
tomato.
The first morning, I think scrambled eggs and tomato is what I ordered, out came some packaged egg thing that didn't taste like egg. It was whipped something or other. And the tomato tasted like it had been sitting in a fridge for 6 weeks. You know, that taste was impregnated. So I just want you to have now the relativity of why I'm sitting here with absolute food and holiday envy, listening to you two, and all I could think of was my little tomato in bloody Houston that tasted like rubber socks that had been worn for weeks.
So I would get texts from Kim. This was the funniest thing.
I noticed she didn't pay attention to you.
No, I didn't. I would get texts from her, and she'd go, "What is it that I cannot find real food?" Like, finally, you know, you ended up going somewhere, but I'll let you tell your story about your food. But one more story from me, and then it's all yours, Kim.
No.
You can tell us all about American food.
Much rather stay in your two heavens. Trust me.
Dolmades.
So we ended up going at 10 o'clock at night. We went up to the mountains on the island of Evia, and we went to a place where they grew everything for you to taste. So they grew the grapes for the wine, the olives for the olive oil. They grew the animals for the tasting, and I watched them. And I know you're probably going to have a fit, but I watched them finish the butcher of one of their deers. I know it's sad. I know, Carren, but I did watch that. So everything is grown in this area, or their farm basically, and you go to this place up in the hills, and you sit on this amazing veranda, and you basically eat the food only from there. So even the goats would produce the milk that would make the cheeses that we had. They grew everything. Everything was grown there.
But don't you feel
so divine,
almost spiritual being in places like that?
Very virtuous.
Yeah, but all those are very spiritual connection to what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know,
and the kitchen was so basic, and I took a photo, Carren, just to prove it.
Right,
yeah.
Good. I wouldn't believe you otherwise.
I know. But the kitchen was amazing. 2 huge butcher's blocks, and that's where they did all their cutting and their garlics and things like that. But it was just one of those. I sat there thinking, why can't we do this in Australia?
We just have to make it happen.
Well, I think you're right. People in Australia have to realise that we have to become a culture of edible gardens, of places where we're not buying from Chile and Greece and Japan and wherever else, but we're actually buying.
Is there a lot of imported food in Europe?
No. I didn't. Oh well, I was picking figs off the tree. That was definitely not imported.
No.
What I did notice that they did import their bananas from Madagascar.
I didn't even notice.
But that was the only thing that I saw. But you know what I think it is, Cyndi? Because Europe is so old and Australia is so young.
Yeah.
And because Europeans, they've only ever known that way. And you think about all of our fruit and veggie shops here in Australia. For a lot of them, they are our Europeans that have come over when they first migrated. And they started our fruit and veggie shops because that's what they knew how to do. And they knew how to do that well. So I think in Australia, I just don't think we've ever been exposed to it. We've never known that that's the way that a person could possibly survive and live. But whereas in Europe, they've been doing that for generation after generation, passed down.
It's culture and tradition.
It's cultural and tradition.
It is culture and tradition. And what's interesting is that we went and watched this gentleman make pastelli, I think it was called pastelli, and it's just sesame seed and honey. Now, his grandfather or great-grandfather taught his grandfather, who had taught his father, who he has then done it. And it was a whole ritual, and it's just sesame seed and honey. And I watched this man do it, and that's all he knows to do. That's what he does, and then he sells it, and it was just stunning. So you're right, it's culture and tradition, and it's been passed on, whereas it seems here...
And there's love in it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because you can taste the love.
Yeah. That's the difference. I love you.
And they do it traditionally. They're not doing it with machine presses or anything like that. I watched him do it from woe to go, from when he started to boil up the honey and the sesame seed and then add more sesame seed, and then I took video of it because it was just one of those things that I thought, this is tradition. And you're right. In Australia, we've lost that. But, I'm from Victoria, and I remember the Greeks and the Italians in Victoria.
Yeah.
They always had veggie gardens in their backyard.
Yeah.
They, because Australia is, apparently in Melbourne, it's the largest population of Greeks and Italians outside. Yeah. So, I remember watching this, and when you look at the culture in Melbourne and the Greeks and the Italians and their culture and what they've done. So, there is a little bit here, but I think we're getting back to it. And I would love to just go for a walk and be able to, that was my ring. I would love to just go for a walk and just be able to eat the mulberries and the figs and the whatever instead of them being noxious weeds.
Yeah, I
These
agree.
are not noxious weeds. These are foods. Like, I thought if there was a Holocaust, I know where to come. I'm going to the hills of Spain.
Yeah.
Seriously,
I'm coming with you. We'll be there.
But you know what? My other thought was this while I was walking through it. I was thinking of the Australian Aboriginal. Now, they knew. We don't know the food that they knew.
Yeah.
Like macadamias in Queensland, they're not. That's the native to Australia is macadamias. So they actually knew that they could go for a walk and get all the food that they wanted.
Yeah.
It's just that I've been brought up in a Western world.
That's right. We just don't know.
We just don't know. So maybe we could survive in Australia. We just don't know the food that we could survive on. Now, Kimmy. Would we like to go to the American diet now?
You know what's so sad?
Oh, I just feel sad about that.
Do you know what is so sad about what I experienced in America was everything we're talking about? I actually think the people do want, but they are so far removed. So I did a course over there for 2 weeks, and first morning my introduction to American food was that egg powder and tomato, which I thought would be a fairly standard meal, but no, couldn't eat that again. Went to the course and they provided lunch, which was a salad. Now, what first got me is it's almost the same size as a half a can. You know, like I'm not talking the big cans. I'm talking like a half can, like you can get coconut milk or cream in that size. Yeah. Was almost the size of the salad dressing that came with the salad.
Oh, nice.
Like that's how much salad dressing came with it. It was like a half a cup. And then I looked at the ingredients on the salad dressing. And hardly any of it I recognised. I so did not recognise half of it, but a lot of it was obviously hydrogenated vegetable oil. There was all sorts of sugars and thickeners and what's the sugar?
High fructose corn syrup.
That's the one. It was just laden. So I didn't put anything on. So I ate this salad. The next day, I didn't eat anything that night because I was so tired, and I had a bit of my nuts and seeds that I brought over from Australia. But on the third day, I was actually starting to freak about needing food because where we were out in the middle of nowhere. There was nowhere I could walk to a market. There was no shops. We were in a hotel environment. And people, they started to find out who I was because on the second night we'd gone out for dinner and just me, an Australian guy from Newcastle and another American girl, the three of us went, and there was 2 restaurants by us. One was a Taco Bell thing or something or other, and the other one was an American sports bar. Yeah, no, nice choice. So so we walk into the Taco Bell thing, and the minute I walk in, I'm thinking, I don't even know these people I'm with. If I was with you two, I would have had no, we would never have gone there. We would have had meltdowns.
We wouldn't have gone there.
We would have looked up organic cafe.
Yeah, hired a car and gone.
I had no time because every night I was doing assignments, so I couldn't even get anywhere.
She did work, didn't she?
So we walk into this place,
Bargain,
and it felt like a Mexican McDonald's. Is what it felt, and the smell, it had that same smell, and I just looked at them both and went, you know what, I can't quite do this. So we walked out, they agreed, and we walked out over to the sports bar, which was so loud and noisy. Anyway, it was Mexican. So I'm looking at the menu, and I didn't actually understand a lot of the menu, like things, and I just said to Jackie that was with me, I just want some beans and greens. I'm happy with that. I don't need any meat. I just want some beans and greens. And she went, okay, well, maybe you should have an enchilada. And I went, okay. So I ordered it. And out came this meal. Honestly, these people, they
massive. Would have been huge.
Massive. But she comes out
filled with cheese. I bet.
No, and I'm not kidding. She puts the plate in front of me, and it's a massive, big oval plate. It looked like a manila folder had been rolled, and then there was this stuff that looked like my cat had just thrown it up, and there was no greens. And over the whole top of everything was this yellow kids paint, which she called cheese.
Oh, yes. It's that pub cheese. It's liquid cheese.
Well, apparently, now that these guys have got to know me, they wish they'd taken a photo of your face. Because I held the plate and went, what is that? And she goes, it's enchilada. Like this, and I've gone, no, you need to take that away. You need to take that away. I can't believe I didn't take a photo. That's how horrified it was, because I wish I had, looking back, taken a photo. You two would have died. It looked like yellow kids paint that you put on you'd paint in a kid's room. Anyway, finally she came back. I just said, I have a salad. So she brought out this funny, which was iceberg lettuce and a tomato and 2 olives.
Yeah.
So that was my meal that night. So then I'm really starting to get upset now because I'm not going to eat. And so on the 4th day, one of the ladies goes, look, I put a post on Facebook on my Like Chocolate for Women page. I put up come on, America, so much for being the land of hope and glory. Are you serious? There is no good food here. And I kind of went to town. 105 comments later, most people were going, oh my gosh, is it really that bad? That's put me off going to America. A couple of Americans said, we're really embarrassed. We're so sorry. You've got to get to a Wholefoods or a Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's. Yeah.
And so anyway, the next day I begged one of the lecturers in the lunch break, please, can you take me? What's the closest one? It was 20 miles away on a highway, freeway.
Oh, well, at least it would have been fast.
So she took me, the Australian Steve, and Jackie, and we hooned down. We had an hour.
Oh, gosh.
And this was 3 playful type personalities, by the way.
In Wholefoods.
So we get to Whole Foods, and I'm just like, I Instagrammed it. I just felt like I was home. So I took photos and everything, and we had 15 minutes. I did the fastest 15-minute shop I have ever done in my life. Do you know what? I bought enough food to stock me for the next 10 days that I actually ate in my room for the next 10 days, apart from 3 meals out, which I then researched every single restaurant I could. But I have to say to you, all these Americans kept saying to me, now they're sitting there at this course and they're nibbling on nuts that are so badly flavoured that it makes you feel sick smelling it. So this lady next to me kept eating these peanuts that were really badly flavoured. With her diet, is it Dr. Pepper? A Dr. Pepper drink. She's skinny as, so it wasn't about weight for her, but she had this jittery kind of disposition. It was kind of nervous kind of energy she was using.
Would have been the aspartame affecting her nervous system.
For breakfast she eats these fake pancakes with this funny fake cream and this fake maple syrup.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get over it. I kept saying, where can I get real food? And they'd look at me like I was some alien. But what astounded me more than anything is a lot of these Americans that were with me were actually none the wiser. They really didn't know. They knew it was kind of bad, but they didn't know what was bad. So I started pointing out to some of these people the ingredients, and I showed them the ingredients card that I had and was showing them that every one of these products had these ingredients in it. Now, for me, a lot of them were parents or grandparents. A lot of them had kids or grandkids on ADD and ADHD medication. Jeez. They had kids that were having trouble in school. Like, it was just fascinating. And the health reform or the health thing in America is a shocker. They're going through all sorts of major reform issues at the moment. And I just sort of sat there, and I remember texting Cyndi the whole time going, please tell me there's real food in this country. But they knew nothing. No. They did not. They all knew that I needed to get to Whole Foods and Trader Jack's.
Yeah. Joe's.
Trader Joe's. Anyway, then I got taken into Houston one night, and we had a drink in a bar, and we had a meal at a Mexican place, and this was probably high-end Mexican, and it was real, and it was greens, and it was really beautiful. I did avoid cheese in America. There's something about orange cheese, and I don't know, there's something about cheese over there, except they took me to a place there in the heart of Houston called Phoenixica. Like, it's Phoenix with an ICA on the end. And I went in there, and it was another Whole Foods kind of environment. And I brought my kefir yogurt drinks, and they were beautiful. All the ingredients were lovely. And I had my beautiful nuts and seed mix from Natural Earth Health Products that I took over, that I would mix that with some fruit. That was my breakfast every morning. So I kind of felt like, and I had a whole heap of nuts and seeds, and that's what I snacked on. All these Americans snacked on chips, these flavoured nuts, their Dr. Pepper hooflicky black thing they were drinking, and their coffees that they were drinking with these fake creams and stuff. Look, I was just horrified.
You can't even get cream in America. Or I've never seen cream in America. No. It's called
half and half.
Half and half. And when people come, Americans come here, because all my cousins are American, and they come and I offer them cream, they got no idea. They got no idea at all. It's actually it's really interesting, because I was listening to a podcast out of America recently, and they were saying that what's happening is that about 10 million Americans out of 320, I think there is over there, are interested in changing their health.
10 million.
10 million, that's it. It's a very small percentage, but it's growing. It never used to, but it's growing. And that's the problem, is that you were probably in an area where it's maybe not a big thing, but you can, like when you go to America, and because I do go, because that's where my mum's from. When you go to America, you can actually start to know where you've got to go. And what I'll often do for people who are going to America and a bit worried about it, so what I often do is I make sure that as soon as I get there, I know where there's a Wholefoods or a Trader Joe's. I also look up organic cafes or vegan cafes or vegetarian, because I know then at least they've got the idea of real food. It's not what I like, vegan and vegetarian, but I know they've got the whole foods. So these are the best things to do when you go. So I remember we went to Hawaii for a family holiday quite a few years ago. Not really, I thought Hawaii was the place of health.
Oh, genetically modified fruit.
Yeah, well, I didn't know this. I thought this was like 5 years ago, and I thought, well, Paul Bragg, he was one of my mentors, and he was out of Hawaii, and he had juice bars and all this wonderful stuff. So I thought, well, we should be all right in Hawaii. So we got a hotel without a kitchen, just a hotel room. And I searched Hawaii, and we were in the main town, I can't remember. Waikiki. We're in Waikiki. I went up and down the strip. I looked everywhere to find somewhere where we could eat and I would feel comfortable with. And I came home and I said to Hab, we have to get out of this hotel. We need an apartment. I found Whole Foods. There's a Whole Foods not far from Waikiki, the main area. I said, I found a Whole Foods. We're going to have to eat in, because there is nothing. It's all chips and hamburgers or Denny's or nothing. Not even a juice bar. I couldn't find a juice bar.
But in the Whole Foods is beautiful food.
Oh, it's stunning.
Like, I bought these kale chip toppings. So when I made my salad in my room, and I bought some smoked salmon, and I bought, because that sort of stuff can last in your fridge. Luckily, I had a fridge in my room, but I had salad stuff. I had lots of veggies you could buy it all pre-chopped up, which was helpful for me because I didn't have a kitchen.
Oh, I love that. I love that container that they've got.
So I had that container. Then I bought a small bowl of salad, which stayed as my salad bowl in my room, and every day I'd make a salad up and pour some smoked salmon or smoked Atlantic salmon into that. And then my dressing, do you know, in one restaurant, I asked if I could have a lemon. She said, oh, no, we don't have those.
We don't have lemons.
They didn't have lemons. So I bought myself a couple of lemons. That was my dressing. So to me, it was like, I get it, but when you're in Houston, we were 30 miles out of town, or 25 miles out of town, and there was nothing. So if I had known that, because I had no idea where I'd be staying, I would have been a little bit more prepared. But to get a taxi into the Whole Foods and back was a $70 taxi trip. So I it wasn't like I could make this, and plus my course was from 8:30 in the morning, and I was working through till 11 o'clock at night every
so you
day.
didn't get siestas and long lunches?
No. But what I'm suggesting is that I got there.
Yeah.
You can make it. But after getting your texts and photos of what you were doing, I was just thinking, but what freaked me out, you could not get two more extremes. Walking in the bush with an edible garden, and to me, walking outside to the freeway and seeing nothing but takeaways, Pizza Huts, McDonald's, like everything was fast food orientated. It's sick.
Do you know there's a TED video called The Guerrilla Gardener? Have you seen it? It's called The Guerrilla Gardener, and it's worth watching. And it's a guy in LA, and he takes, the first thing he talks about is the landscape of LA, and he shows he talks about the social problems in LA, and he takes photos of all the takeaway places in LA. And what he does is he becomes a guerrilla gardener, because he asks the council, can I use this land to do a veggie garden? So he ends up on his nature strip creating a vegetable garden, and then he finds landscapes and he just goes in there and makes them. He doesn't ask the council anymore, he just goes in there and does it. So it's worth watching The Guerrilla Gardener, because he sees it. He sees that this is our landscape, what you saw in Houston. It's not good enough. It's not good for our youth. It's not good for our health. And when you consider that the brain takes 25% of our calories, basically, 25% of our energy needs the brain takes. And we've got so many depressed people and so many people that are not doing well. And if all we did was become guerrilla gardeners ourselves in our own backyard, if not help community gardens, then, perhaps we can change what's happening. And this whole American health reform, it's huge what they're doing.
Massive. It's
so
massive.
tell me, when you guys were walking around in Europe, what were people drinking? Like, what would you see them having drinks
Never
of?
saw soda drinks. I didn't see soda drinks.
I saw a lot of water.
Yeah.
And coffee, I suppose.
Coffee was big. The coffee culture is big.
Everyone in America had a
A Coke.
can or a soda drink, a pop, whatever they call it.
In San Francisco, everybody was drinking massive cups of coffee. Like it was just
No, these were
massive
massive
cups of
soda
coffee.
drinks.
But San Francisco, from a food perspective, when I first got there, I was staying just out of San Francisco in a suburb called Burlingame, which is right near the airport. And it's actually quite sweet, you know, just one main street with, you know, some shops and stuff like that. But it was the Hyatt at Burlingame where I was speaking for the chiropractic conference. And I didn't take a great deal of food with me because I thought, well, you know, it's the Hyatt, so I'm sure I'm going to get some great stuff. No, really struggled. The best that I got was vegetable crudités with hummus. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me.
These are so cute.
That just came from nowhere. Yeah, the best thing I got on the menu was vegetable crudités with hummus. So I had that just about every day. And I got a couple of salads, but the salads were really iceberg lettuce with some green capsicum, tomato. That's actually it. That was all that was in the salad, and it was really tough. It was really tough. And then in the end, because I couldn't get out of the conference place, I started having I got a panini with salad on it. And oh my goodness, the next day I could feel the pain underneath my rib cage. And I bought a beautiful suit to wear at my conference, but I was so hungry I was shaking because I just couldn't eat anything.
Actually, I remember your post on that.
Oh.
You said, "What is this?"
Yeah.
Talk about your post that you did on Facebook.
Yeah, I put a post on Facebook and I just said, what the hell? Like, how come I can't get anything to eat? What's the deal? Anyway, a bunch of people sent posts back of some really lovely places, but they were in San Francisco. So
And that's the thing, when you're not staying right in the heart of somewhere, it's very hard.
I did actually find a Mexican restaurant, which was really cool, because when I went to the Mexican restaurant, they had all their enchiladas and their tacos and stuff, and I just said to them, look, I'm not going to eat any of that. And I was actually quite proud of myself, Cindy. But I said, I'm actually not eating any of that, so can I tell you what I want on a plate and will you make it up? And they did, which was really great, because I just went nuts. I overate. Yes, I did. Yeah. I ate until I could barely move because I thought, well, I'm not going to eat again. I hadn't eaten for 3 days and I wasn't going to eat for another 3. But then when I got into San Francisco itself, into the city of San Francisco, I was staying right on the wharf. And that was divine. Oh my goodness, it was so beautiful. The city of San Francisco is breathtaking. And gentlemen who just kind of fostered me right from the very beginning, Tez Malloy.
Who I know.
Yeah. He fostered me. He took me on guided tours. It was just amazing. And what a beautiful place. But I'm telling you, if you're not eating seafood chowder, you're not eating. You're not eating. But you know what I discovered, or what I realised for myself, and of course we all have our own personal journeys when we go out to these places, but for what I saw, I felt so sorry. I felt so sad, because America is such a massive place, and when you fly over LA or you fly over any of those places, I mean, we can't comprehend the massivnicity and the number of people. But just in San Francisco, and what I saw down the fishermen's wharfs there, the consumption is obscene. I mean, and I mean no disrespect to the Americans, because if they knew better, they would do better.
But what is that about the massive meals? I couldn't even eat half of them.
And that's the thing. The meals are just massive. But, you know, being an animal lover and seeing the things that I saw was the waste of life that takes place due to this over-consumption. And I'm not just talking about people who eat too much. I'm not just talking about obesity here. What I'm talking about is overconsumption of everything. There's this overconsumption of food, an overconsumption of life, an overconsumption of space, an overconsumption of just about everything.
Space rockets,
which we don't know if they flew to the moon or not, but there's just this intense overconsumption that's sad. And I looked at the number of people that were, you know, just jamming the streets, and then I flew into LA on my way home. And I looked at all of that, Cindy, and I don't know. I looked at it and I thought, are we too big? Are there too many people to get it right? Will we ever be able to have the United States of America, because if the United States of America can get it, I mean, wow, what an amazing epiphany that would be worldwide. But are we too many? And is this overconsumption, has it gone too far? And the minute I had that thought, because I sat in the plane actually feeling quite sad for the people, but also for the animals, I'll be honest. I watched a fishing boat go out and they came back with big king salmon. And there's this big crowd around the fishing boats. And I just went and had a look. And this man is scaling the fish while he's alive. And he's cutting, the head's still on there, he's cutting open the guts and pulling out the guts while this fish is still alive. And this thing's just quivering. I couldn't watch it. When I saw that it was still alive, I thought, no, that's not even humane. That's not even humane. But there wasn't just one fish. There was 300 fish. And people had brought garbage bags down, white garbage bags that you use in your kitchen, and they were filling them to the brim of these white garbage bags. And it was just mum and dads with their kids.
With the fish heads or the guts? Or
No, of the filleted salmon. The fillets of the salmon. And they were getting them in big garbage bags full and taking them home and doing whatever they were going to do.
Oh, wow.
It was such an eye-opener. It was such an eye-opener. But I'll be honest, the minute I had that thought on the plane, thinking, have we gone too far? Is it irreparable? Is it too much damage? And I thought, you know what? It actually isn't. It actually isn't. If we look at, I don't know, it's kind of out there, Jerry. Here we go, a little bit down the rabbit hole, but not
Here we go.
quite.
I knew we had to go sometime.
No, not too much, not too much. But I thought if we look at humanity as each individual is like a cell in a body, and we look at the world and life as the body, and then each individual is a cell in the body, each individual plays a part. We can't be too big because each individual plays a part, and some cells work for the betterment of the whole, and some cells work towards the cancer, the cancer of the body. And the cancer is the only, the only cell in the body that will actually destroy itself by destroying its host. So it's kamikaze cell there. So if we can be part of contributing to more cells in the body, then eventually the cancer in the body will become less, and the betterment of the body will become the priority, or will become more self-sustaining. And I thought, so it was quite encouraging to look out over LA and see this great thick blanket of dark brown smog covering the whole of LA. As we flew through it, I could see the contrast of the beautiful blue sky, cute little white clouds, thick dark brown blanket that covered the top of LA, and then obviously the bottom of LA just kind of disappeared in amongst all the blackness. But I thought, it can't be too late. It can't be too late, because I don't believe that we ideally want to implode. We don't want to kill ourselves. We don't want to destroy our host. We don't. We all want for the betterment. So then the key is not so much the result being obesity, or the result being overconsumption, or the result being diabetes or cancer. The key is actually the education.
Definitely the key is education.
It's the education. And I think that if our governments, and I don't know, maybe it's pie in the sky, but if our governments could focus on educating people as what good food was, or what health was, rather than having an environment that's built around sickness, our medical practitioners and the whole medical model is around sickness. You've got to be sick to go to the doctor. So I thought, well, maybe there's some hope. I mean, if we can get as many people finding their voice, maybe there's some hope. If more people, like our listeners on the podcasts, if they can find their voice and talk about what they learn, share what they learn just with their kids or with their next door neighbour, or share what they know with the teacher, or, whoever, whatever.
Or start their edible garden,
Absolutely.
That's a really good place to start.
And what a great conversation point too.
It's wonderful. Actually, in amongst all that smog and in amongst all those people in LA, there is a gentleman, and there's probably more than this man, but there's a movie that's written about him, and it's called Homegrown.
Oh,
and
wow.
He's on a town block right above right below a highway. You can see the highway from his town block. And his wife had left him. He's left with 3 young children, and he decides that he is going to grow flowers and sell to the local market to make some money to supplement the income, because he's got no wife, he's got 3 kids, and then he decides to grow vegetables. And he basically, on his little town block, supplies enough food for not only the markets but his family. Year in, year out, year in, year out. This tiny little block has a home on it. He's got goats in there and he's got chickens in there. You should see it. It's an amazing movie to watch. And this is over a period of years that he's done this. But his kids are now grown up and they're all part of the garden now, and they give their produce, they sell their produce as well as live off this little town block in the middle of LA with a highway over it.
Do you know, that was one of the most beautiful things about Italy, and also we went to Sorrento and drove down the Amalfi Coast, and every single garden was a farm. Mm-hmm. There was no gardens for kids to play or anything like that. Well, I mean, they had little trikes and swings and stuff in amongst it all, but every backyard was a garden, and it was beautiful. It was breathtaking. I'm going to do that. I'm going to rip out my yuccas, and I'm going to plant me some figs, and I'm going to plant me some mulberries, and I'm going to plant me some tomatoes.
Yeah.
Look out.
What would both of your advice be then when travelling to a new place? Like, I really was gobsmacked in America. I was not prepared for what I saw. I really wasn't.
No, me neither.
Really?
And I have been to LA before, but when I was in LA actually has a lot more eating options. Because there are a lot more savvy people there. Yeah. So LA's got lots of vegan and organic and genetically modified foods. OMG.
Yeah, massive.
Corn, papaya, were the two primary ones that I remember seeing. The papaya from Hawaii is genetically modified. I got a brochure on it. And corn, everything is made from corn.
I know.
Which is all GM. Soya, which is all GM'd. And now wheat, they're going to go GM. And it's massive. It really is.
How come the governments are approving it? I suppose because it's Monsanto. Okay, there's another conversation.
Yeah, it is another conversation. And people don't realise, people think they're doing everything right. But when you actually look at even chocolate. So Carren brought us back some beautiful chocolate.
And do you know, I couldn't bring anybody back chocolate or chips or lollies or anything because it all has that genetically modified corn.
Except the chocolate you got is the only one that doesn't have genetic modified soy lecithin. So I remember seeing this post on Facebook recently, and it basically said you can keep your fair trade chocolate with your genetically modified soy lecithin. Because that's what's happening, is that all these beautiful chocolates are out there, but they put soy lecithin in there, which is genetically modified. Yeah. So my advice, I guess, if you are really particular about your food, it's probably good to do a little bit of a check before you go, especially in the US. We always make sure if we land in an airport, we know where the nearest Whole Foods is. We go straight to the Whole Foods and then we continue on our journey. Because we know that wherever we're going to be, that we want that type of food. We don't not want to have it. Look, you can go to restaurants and just ask for meat and vegetables and salad, but you don't know whether that meat has been fed by genetically modified corn, which it could have been. So you run that risk. I guess where I would be going, and the more I realise it is Europe. Europe will give you that culture.
Cyndi, have you spoken in America? Do they want to hear this message?
Yeah. Remember, there's 10 million people over there that do want to hear this message. It's a momentum. It's growing. Even my cousins are getting it. At first they read my book, Changing Habits, Changing Lives, back in 1998. And they went, oh, we can't do that in America, which you can, And this is what's being spoken in America now, is what I was talking about back then. But even my cousins would read my book and go, yeah, whatever. But now they're beginning to realise that they have to start looking at these foods. And the really good thing about a lot of my cousins is that they're from the farm, from the Iowa area, the Midwest, and they all have farms and they all have gardens. So they're already there, but they'll also, go to the grocery store and buy other foods that they're not even thinking about. So, look, I think there's a momentum growing, and it's the same in Australia. Europe has it, but I think what's happening in Europe is that they're actually going more Western. I went into their grocery stores, and I felt like I was just in a grocery store, which was in Australia. Yeah. I was actually a little bit disappointed because I thought I'd go in there and just see the deli and the fruits and the vegetables. But no, it's all the aisles that are in another language, but I could tell what everything was. Like, it was Cocoa Pops and all the breakfast cereals. They didn't used to do, they had continental breakfast, which was meat and cheese and and fruit.
And croissants.
And croissants, yes. They would have croissants made with probably einkorn, But look, if you're really particular about your food, check where you're going, check what food's available, and see if you can get what you want. And it's like me. I won't go to a country where I have to be vaccinated. I make that choice. So if I'm going to a country and I'm being told that I'm going to have to be vaccinated if I want to get out of it or into it, I go, well, I'm not going. So that's the choice I make. I didn't know about Greece and Spain. I knew the food would be good, but I had no idea about how would I say it? The ediblenicity of it all?
Ediblenicity.
That's brilliant.
The ediblenicity of it all.
That.
And that's what was just, to me, I was in heaven.
I think the advice that I would give is, it got on day 3, as I said to you both, I couldn't do it anymore, to the point where I didn't care if I missed some of the course. I had to get food, and I didn't care if no one was going to take me. I was going to take a $70 taxi ride. So for me, really, in the whole 2 weeks I was away, I added up all my invoices. I spent $340 on food for 2 weeks because I went to Wholefoods.
Yeah.
So to me, even though people say it's expensive, I got a lot of meals out of that, and plus I don't eat half as much as they do. So my advice would be, at some point you find a Wholefoods or a Trader Joe's, and you have to. There was no other option for me. But the Americans knew about it, and it was filled with people when I was in there. My advice, and the other thing for me, I took a lot of food with me. I didn't take any liquid food with me, but I took a lot of nuts and seeds. I took my coconut date slice or nut balls, which they lasted for another 2 weeks that I was there because I could put them in the fridge. And I took a lot of that Natural Earth Health products, which was the protein powder, which I could add to yogurt or to a drink.
That's actually quite interesting, because I found I didn't have to declare anything.
No.
Going into the States, you don't have to declare any food or anything. I actually, afterwards, I thought to myself, bugger it. I wished I'd come into Australia, of course you've got to declare, but I mean, nobody checked anything.
No.
And then you have to get rid of it, which is, I had bought back some of that beautiful sesame seed and honey, and I just left it on the plane.
No, you bring it in.
They don't mind it.
They don't mind
Don't
it.
they?
No.
I just thought, I'm not declaring it. I'm not going to go... Because I bought kefir one time and they threw it. So
Well, it
I went,
depends on
I
what it
can't be
is.
bothered. I'm not going to go through it all. So I just left it on this beautiful...
I brought home a beautiful vegan protein mix. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Seaweed, honey, mustard, chocolate. Yeah, I brought home stacks of stuff. Of course, I declared it, but when I went through the declaration part, there was a man standing there. He asked me what I had. I told him. He said, "Yep, you're good. Go straight through."
I got the same thing.
I didn't have to go and go through my bags.
Yeah.
And what would your little bit of advice be, darling?
Not dissimilar. I'm just learning and I'm just starting on this journey. So for me, I Googled cafes and I Googled organic places, and I knew about Wholefoods and I knew about Trader Joe's. So yeah, similar to you, I spent $50, went straight to Trader Joe's in a taxi as soon as the conference that I was going to was over, and stocked up, filled up my little fridge with kale and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's a case of just being responsible if that's what you want to do. If you're prepared to suck it up and suffer with what's coming, then
It's not worth it. Not when you're learning and studying.
Look,
Yeah. And when you have to speak, the last thing you need is a brain that's not working.
Well, it was sad. Well, not sad, but I was nervous about it because I had the bread, and the next morning I woke up bloated, and I was on stage that afternoon, and my pants were tight, so I ended up having to wear a skirt. But it was an amazing experience all the same. But I think that you just need to be prepared. But on that note, I think we've come to the end of our podcast. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
I think we've done our dash on food. What are we going to call this one? Traveling
foodies. Travelling foodies.
Travelling foodies. I was going to say the travelling mulberries, but let's go with the travelling foodies.
Here we go around the mulberry bush.
And I tell you what, I got so inspired on how pleased I am that we three live this way, that I replanted my veggie garden on the weekend and got my herb. I just thought, what a great thing. It's only a small garden, but you can have an edible garden in your backyard.
You can. Definitely. Even if it's just herbs. Even if it's herbs. And lettuces and tomatoes.
Yep.
Done. Yeah.
Go the tomato.
Yeah.
Now, we want to hear your thoughts and we want to hear all about where you've travelled. What have you experienced? Or if you haven't, are you thinking of going overseas? What do you think you might do to support yourself when you're overseas? So give us your thoughts and give us your comments on our catch-up podcast. Go to thewellnesscouch.com up for a chat and post your comments there. Otherwise, or as well, jump over to our Facebook page because we really want to hear from you guys on our Facebook page. And it's all the W's, facebook.com/up for a chat. And join us next week on Up for a Chat and be part of the ripple effect that's changing the world. And we'll see you on the ride.
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/TheWellnessCouch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives.
Hi, Dr. Brett Hill from The Wellness Guys here. Imagine having 6 internationally renowned health and wellbeing specialists all to yourself for 3 whole days. Imagine a beautiful tropical location away from the rat race where you can fully immerse yourself in creating a new you. Imagine personalised one-on-one attention to help you break through to the next level. Join the 3 Up for a Chat girls, Kim Morrison, Cyndi Amira and Carren Smith, and the 3 wellness guys, Dr. Lawrence Tam, Dr. Damien Christoph and myself for the BFO Wellness Retreat at the luxurious Western Resort and Spa in Fiji and make your health a priority. For more information, go to thewellnesscouch.com and click on shop. We can't wait to see you there.
Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavor to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.